Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching. Oh, what's going on? Well, this is my show for today. It's earlier. I'm taking my son fishing later. Yeah, so anyways, crazy, I have a whole bunch of different articles we can just go through in some video. This guy that killed, I think, his ex-girlfriend, the dad, and everybody with a crossbow, tied him up, did all kinds of weird crap, you know. It's pretty wild. I think this happened overnight. I thought it was 5 people. Maybe it's 3, but I thought it was 5. Yeah, well, regardless. No, I think I read the wrong word. I think it's 3, but hey, 5 sounds better on the title, right? I think I was reading this 5 here. But anyways, BBC 5 Live racing commentator John Hunt's wife, and let me go to the correct page here. Welcome, Brady Jensen. Yeah, so the wife and 2 daughters were tied up and shot dead with crossbow by an ex-boyfriend in their home as manhunt continued. That was last night. Hey, thank you so much for joining there, Brandy Johnson and Shelly Ann. Thank you. I'll fix the title later. Actually, what I'll do is I'll fix the the text portion. It takes a while to do the. Okay, there you go. Not sure why my brain thought there was 5. Maybe it was because of that name up there. A huge manhunt is underway. This was last night. They've caught him, though, to find suspect Kyle Clifford, 26, who is the ex-boyfriend of John's daughter, Louise. And here is a picture of both of them. Guy looks pretty strange. Pretty odd-looking guy. All right, Emily Flotilla, Never Illa. Gifted a membership to Shauna Martz. Welcome. Yeah, so helicopters were seen circling the hilly fields area of Enfield, north of London. So, okay, the helicopters were flying over there, but I don't think that's where they didn't find them anywhere near there. On Wednesday afternoon, before police raided an empty property in the area, they then turned their sights on a nearby primary school, which has gone into lockdown after locating the suspect's car there. Police have warned Clifford may be armed and dangerous and urged the police or the public not to approach the man if they see him, but to instead call 999 immediately. At a press conference today, Hertfordshire police urged Clifford to make contact with the police as the suspect in the killings remain at large. Yeah, so that's, I guess, one of the daughters there. That's Louise. And then this is Hannah. And then her. So he killed 3 women. So this guy apparently was like he was like a racing announcer. Carol Hunt pictured here. 2 daughters were tied up before being shot at with a crossbow. So there he is right there. And this location is on a map. I think it's right. Is it this one? Oh yeah, so they were over here. This is the home. This house right there. I think the one on the right. Or I don't know if they have both doors there. I'm not really sure how that works. Maybe there's just one door in the middle. Let's see if there's... Now there's street view, so we can just look. Yeah, so it's that one. And I guess apparently the mother is the dog groomer. And that's what you see in the backyard. This, like, probably fake grass right there, and then maybe a shed back in there. Yeah, we got the part on his brother. I'm just going to go through these in order, though. Clifford from Enfield, North London, used to work as a security guard, it has been reported. This morning, the usually quiet cul-de-sac was swarming with armed police and forensic officers as the triple murder investigation continued. Although the police have not officially released the identity of the victims, hold on. Just a telemarketer, Jesus. Although the police have not officially released the identity of the victims, the BBC revealed this afternoon that 3 women were the wife and 2 daughters of its racing commentator John Hunt. He had been working at Lingfield Park Racecourse in Surrey yesterday before returning home in the evening to discover the horror. Oh my God. Could you imagine? You come home from work and you find in your house your wife and 2 daughters all killed with a crossbow. Jesus. He had been working at a Lingfield Park. Oh, we just read that. Shocked neighbors said Louise ran a dog grooming business called Groom and Glow from the detached house in a cul-de-sac. Local resident William Nurala paid tribute to the beautiful young girl. He said, "She was a gorgeous girl. She really was a young, hard-working girl. I met the mom once or twice because she opened the door for me. I met the father. She was happy every time I saw her. We would have a laugh and a joke. She was a beautiful young girl. It was a waste of a life." Another neighbor, Glenn Nicholas, 77, said that Louise had been left upset at breaking up with boyfriend and crashed her car last week as a result. Wow, okay. He said Louise was a very nice girl. She ran a dog grooming. I wonder why. How did she get in there? I mean, it's weird. Like, it sounds like it. He must have broke up. Well, she must have broke up with him, right? Because that's why he's enraged. I wonder why she was so upset though that she crashed her car. Usually it's the other person. I'm not sure what's going on with my throat. Something is in there. Who the boyfriend was, I don't know. I never saw him. I believe Hannah, Louise's sister, was also killed along with their mother, Carol. Hey, thanks, Francis. Speaking of which, $2 train, y'all. Let's go. A neighbor who lives on the serene and quiet road and did not want to be named said they were a friendly family. We would see them every day passing by, and they would say good morning. I mean, the family's just crushed, obviously. In a press conference, man, I'm not sure what's going on. I think I just went outside and got some allergy. It's like my voice is messed up. In a press conference on Wednesday, Chief Superintendent John Simpson from Hertfordshire Police told reporters the murders are believed to be targeted. The force also warned the public not to approach the suspect, who may be in possession of a crossbow. He said, "Our overarching objective today is to protect public safety and to locate Kyle Clifford, who is wanted in connection with the murder of the 3 women in what we believe is a targeted incident. The manhunt also involves armed police officers and specialist search teams responding at pace in wake of what has been a horrific incident involving what is currently believed to be a crossbow." Crazy. What's this one? Okay, we just did that. Yeah, so this actually has, there's surveillance footage of the guy walking with the crossbow underneath like a, here, look. Look at that crazy crap. There he is walking away. There's the crossbow underneath the, like a sheet. And he just kind of makes his way to a car. I wonder where... Well, thanks again, Francis. Yeah, there you go. That's like the helicopter footage where the house is. Well, you're going to have to start banning crossbows. Thanks, Francis. Mary Hayes. Tired of it all. What's that? Now, I don't think this thing's related to anything. Even though it was another video there, I just don't think it's related. Yeah, I don't think this one's even related either. And that's him being hauled away through a cemetery. So his location, so that's where the homicides took place, the murders. And then he doesn't even live anywhere near there, really. So here is the Lavender Cemetery, and I think he lived right here on this corner. I'll show you why in a second. Thank you, Sybil Bergeron. Yeah. Let's see, let me open up this one. See, this is where I think they knew he lived. He might have escaped and ran, I don't know. See, there's a guy aiming up there. And the only way I could figure it out, it was on a specific street but at the end, there's these businesses that they pan to, but it was specifically the last one, I think it was. Like that one, I finally could find that one right there. And so the blue, you see how it looks like that? And then you can see it right there even. So it must be right here. You know, something like right there, or right there or something, where if it turned, it's just hard to say exactly, but it's definitely like right in this area. So the guy lived right in one of these right here. Thanks, Francis. I'll start it over. Yeah, we got to start banning automobiles and rocks. They kill people. It's got to be right there, right? Or is it right? No. I mean, the angle of that building, it's just like right in there. Kind of just pans up over there. But it was strange how it sort of followed the road. I got to look at that one more time. Yeah, just like right over here. So I think it is. I don't see that little wooden fence though. That's the only thing that's missing, but it's definitely not over here. I think it's right there. So thanks, Francis. Chilling footage appears to show triple murder suspect Kyle Clifford walking away from a house containing the bodies of his ex-girlfriend and her family. The 26-year-old was the subject of a huge manhunt after Carol Hunt and her daughter, Louise, 25, and Hannah, 28, were found fatally injured at their 800,000 pound, that's probably like $1 million plus, detached home in Bushey, Hertfordshire last night. The three women, who are the wife and daughter of BBC 5 Live racing commentator John Hunt, are thought to have been tied up and shot dead with a crossbow in a targeted attack, which police believe may have included other weapons. Now, the fugitive was finally caught on Wednesday afternoon and was seen being bundled into the back of an ambulance at a cemetery, how appropriate, in the hilly fields area. Now, there's another hilly fields area that I don't know. I couldn't find that one earlier, but I know where that is. Of Enfield, North London, by armed police and paramedics. It comes after afternoon doorbell footage came to light that allegedly shows Clifford, who is the ex-boyfriend of Louise, striding away from the family home while carrying a large object underneath a white sheet shortly before 7 p.m. yesterday. Armed police and paramedics were filmed this afternoon running into Lavender Hill Cemetery in Enfield as the hunt continued for Clifford, a former soldier and security guard.
Now, paramedics now running quite fast actually through hilly fields along with police officers. They've just arrived. Let's follow them. Let's see how far they'll let us follow them. Of course, this is a sensitive operation, but two paramedics now accompanying police officers through a bush and into the cemetery. It appears we don't yet know exactly what they're responding to, but this could be linked, we understand, to the search for Kyle Clifford. We're just being stopped by a police officer from going into this gate, but paramedics now running into the cemetery with armed police officers. Armed police have just
yeah, so that's where he lived, right there, but that cemetery is right here. So that road that building was probably that you were just looking at. So somewhere in here is where they were dragging him through, so I don't know if he tried to escape and that's why they're in there. Not sure what that was, but God, what's going on here? Jeez. That was my kids saying, hey, when are we going fishing? So we're going fishing tonight in a few hours. But I tell you what, if you're out there and you have the ability to, if you want to help support the Grant Hughes Investigates YouTube channel, that'd be great. We do a lot of great stuff here on the channel, a lot of different cases, and also support a lot of great things. And it'd be great to continue to be able to do all those things. So if you're able to, I'd appreciate it. And now back to the case. So we've got Louise Hunt. That's the sister. So basically this girl, lady here, this one here, and her. So all of his entire family was taken out. I wonder if he blames him for the breakup. And then he, like, to make him suffer, he kills his wife and all of, his daughter, and he also gets retribution on the daughter as well. Thank you, Crystal, aka Beaver Gaming sub Crystal. Later, armed police closed down the cemetery, a 5-minute walk from the house linked to the suspect. Up to 4 black-clad officers, 2 carrying automatic rifles, stood guard at the cemetery gates, preventing members of the public from entering. Meanwhile, an ambulance rushed into the cemetery grounds with blue lights flashing and sirens on it. It sounds like he may have tried to do something to himself. It re-emerged about 20 minutes later, still in emergency mode. 2 helicopters were also spotted hovering, one believed to be an air ambulance which landed in the cemetery grounds. Earlier, officers raided a house where Clifford is known to live, with dramatic footage from today showing officers storming the property. Police found the suspect's car and were searching a nearby park. Members of the public were told to immediately call 999 if they see Clifford, but not approach him, describing him as dangerous and potentially still armed. Nearby schools had gone into precautionary lockdowns, with teachers at one primary telling parents to collect their children at the end of the day and take them directly home. The BBC has called the murders utterly devastating, adding in a note to staff, "Our thoughts are with John and his family at this incredible..." I don't even know how you would deal with it, being the father there. I don't do the goal anymore, Francis. I know people didn't like it, so we just quit doing it, and it's really, that's just the way it is, I guess. Clifford's neighbor told today how police had put the road into lockdown as a house was searched by armed officers. They spoke as 2 police helicopters hovered above the neighborhood, and 2 uniformed PCs stood guard at the door of the terraced home. One local mother told how she arrived back from dropping her children off at school to find armed police at the house opposite hers. They had cordoned off the road and were ushering people away from the house they were going into, she told Mail Online. They had the full protective gear on and guns, shields, helmets, etc. They let me through to get home. That's that same footage we saw before. It's right in that house. Thank you, Francis and Allie Cake. I'm gonna move on. I don't want to keep reading Daily Mail. So this is the mother here. That's obviously the dad, the survivor. under current, let's see, yeah, this is like something about, this actually, I mean, believe it or not, this is February of this year in London. Said, under current legislation, it is illegal for anyone under 18 to purchase or possess a crossbow. And anyone who carries a crossbow in public without reasonable excuse faces up to 4 years behind bars. The government is considering going further, launching a call for evidence to ask whether these rules are tough enough. Strengthened rules could include a licensing scheme to protect public safety, police checks for anyone looking to purchase crossbows. This would mean that crossbows are policed under regulations similar to that of firearms. Crossbows are used rarely in violent crime in the country, but they can be highly dangerous. We're doing all we can to ensure we have the appropriate measures in place against any risk these potentially dangerous weapons may pose. I encourage the public and those in the industry to come forward to share their views so we can have the most accurate picture. I mean, that seems kind of weird that they brought up crossbows this year. And this is the other girl here. Looks like maybe she had a boyfriend. Maybe, I don't know if that's maybe that's a brother. Is there a brother, or was the entire family taken out? It's probably, is that both of them? All three of them right there? That sucks. The wife and two youngest daughters of John Hunt, a BBC racing commentator, have been killed in a crossbow attack at their home. Carol Hunt, 61, and the couple's children, Louise, 25, and Hannah, 28, were found with serious injuries at their home in Bushey, Hertfordshire, after neighbors reported hearing screams. They were pronounced dead a short time later by paramedics. Mr. Hunt, who had been working for the BBC at Lingfield Park racecourse on Tuesday, returned home to discover the tragedy. Kyle Clifford, 26, the suspected killer, was detained on Wednesday night in Lavender Hill Cemetery close to his home in Enfield, North London, following a huge manhunt. Within hours of the killings, Yvette Cooper, the Home Secretary, announced she would urgently examine a ban on the sale of crossbows and weapons. God, it's just so much like the United States, just you get this one psycho, let's ban them all, everybody. It's ridiculous. Mr. Clifford, a former soldier who is believed to have been in relationship with Louise Hunt, was located by armed officers at about 6 p.m. Police said no shots were fired, but he was receiving medical treatment, having been found with injuries. Last night, Mr. Hunt, I bet he tried to take his own life. In a note sent to BBC 5 Live staff after the deaths, the broadcaster said, "The news today about John Hunt's family is utterly devastating. Our thoughts are with John and his family at this incredibly difficult time, and we will provide him with all the support we can. The killings have once again ignited a debate about the availability of crossbows." That's hilarious. I mean, I gotta admit, I think it's just funny. Like, every time there's a shooting over here, it's like, hey, ban the guns. But they don't have guns over there for the public. So now it's like the ever-increasing ban of crossbows. So they pick whatever weapon is used, you ban them. It's like if somebody got killed with a butter knife, they probably say, well, we're thinking about putting a ban on butter knives. You're gonna have to use. We're gonna only be able to sell plastic butter knives to people. Home Office sources said Miss Cooper would urgently consider the findings from a review. Okay, they're going over that. We keep legislation under a constant review, and a call for evidence was launched earlier this year to look at whatever further controls on crossbows should be. Yeah, it's weird how that just sort of takes over the story. It has nothing to do with anything. Glenn Nicholas, 77, a neighbor of the Hunt family, said Louise split up with her boyfriend a few days ago, and she crashed her car into a telephone pole because she was so upset coming home. Yeah, so she broke up with him. She's a lovely, caring girl. She runs a dog grooming business in Bushey. Her sister, Hannah, and mother, Carol, so this girl, actually, Louise, runs the dog grooming business. She's a lovely, caring girl. She runs a dog grooming business in Bushey. Her sister, Hannah, and mother, Carol, are lovely as well. It's also sad. Louise was a sweet, loving girl. They all were. This is so sad for everyone. What's this?
Police were called to a property in Ashland Close just before 7 p.m. last night. Officers attended alongside colleagues from the East of England Ambulance Service and, on arrival, found 3 women with serious injuries. Sadly, despite their best efforts, the women, who are believed to be related, died a short time later at the scene. The victims are aged 25, 28 and 61. Our overarching objective today is to protect public safety and to locate Kyle Clifford, who is wanted in connection with the murder of the 3 women in what we believe is a targeted incident. We have extensive police resources deployed to various locations in North London and also the Bushey area of Hertfordshire. The manhunt also involves armed police officers and specialist search teams responding at pace in the wake of what has been an horrific incident involving what is currently believed to be a crossbow, but other weapons may also have been used. If members of the public see Kyle Clifford, they are urged not to approach him at any point and to dial 999 immediately. Kyle, if you're seeing or hearing this, please make contact with the police via 999.
Let's see. After the start of 5 live, championship football semi-final match, Mark Chapman's voice quivered as he said, "This has been a heartbreaking day. John Hunt is our colleague and our friend, not just the current 5 Live sports team, but to all those who have worked with him over the past 20 years, and also to all you who have enjoyed his superb commentaries. On behalf of everyone connected to 5 Live Sports, our love and thoughts and support are with John and his family." Messages of condolence were posted on social media by figures from the racing world. Cornelius Lysott, a BBC racing correspondent, said, "There are no words like everyone else. I feel numb and sick on John's behalf at such incomprehensible evil. Everyone who knows John knows he is the absolute archetypal family man, so proud of them. So it's impossible to know what he can be going through. Man. Man, I was just trying to picture how that would be. I don't really know, Francis. I mean, either one. I mean, memberships are good. I mean, hopefully somebody stays around after they become a member. A lot of times, though, our memberships are given to people that didn't even really want to even be here. They just showed up, and they had it available, and they get them, and that's it. And I guess that's her, Louise, the ex, or the victim, but the one that crashed her car. I bet she had pictures of him on her Facebook page, and then she removed them, and then that probably set him off. Because there's no pictures of him on there. You know him? Doing Life My Way? Yeah, this is apparently his brother. Mustang driver Bradley Clifford, guilty of Enfield murder. So, a driver has been found guilty. So that means it's like a genetic disposition in their family. And that's a real thing, by the way. Where it's just sort of like they have the ability to kill, The driver has been found guilty of deliberately mowing down a moped after his prized Ford Mustang was damaged. Bradley Clifford, 23, from Enfield, chased Sobin Khan, 18, and Joshua Francis, 19, after they struck his car with a bottle. They were both flung into the air by the collision, and Mr. Khan was beaten by Clifford as he lay on the ground, fatally injured, the jury was told. Clifford was found guilty of murder and attempted GBH, I don't know what that, great bodily harm with intent. The jury heard he became enraged when his high-performance Ford Mustang EcoBoost wing mirror was broken in the early hours of the 5th of August. He then began a rapid, brutal, and unrelenting pursuit through the streets of Enfield, North London. Prosecutor Afab, Jeffries, QC, and Clifford pursued the moped not to apprehend the two people on it, but to mow them down for daring to damage his prized vehicle. Mr. Khan and Mr. Francis drove the moped into oncoming traffic and mounted a pavement as they tried to escape. You mean like on pavement? Thank you, Emily Flotilla. Never illa. Mr. Khan was beaten by Clifford as he lay defenseless and fatally injured on the ground after his moped became tangled with the car. Mr. Francis escaped somewhat miraculously with minor injuries, Mr. Jaffery said. And then in a statement, Mr. Khan's family said Sobin was taken from us at the tender age of 18 years old. He was known as a great son, great brother, and key family member. We will never recover from the grief and loss of such a loving, strong, enthusiastic, and talented young man. Clifford was sentenced on Friday. He'll be out in 5. You know how that works over there. Yeah. That's one of those countries that believes the treatment, it makes a difference. If we just give them, medications and... Hey, thanks again. Emily Flotilla gifted a membership, and look who got it. Francis Peralt. What are the odds? What are the odds? Could have gone to a lot of people. Let's see. A British Army veteran wanted in connection with the death of 3 women in a suspected crossbow attack has been captured after being found with injuries. Kyle Clifford, 26, who was understood to have served in the British Army for about a year, was named as a suspect by Hertfordshire police after the deaths of Carol Hunt, 61, and 2 of her daughters, Hannah, 28, and Louise, 25, at a property in Bushey. CH Superintendent John Simpson from Hertfordshire Police told reporters early on Wednesday that the suspected murders were believed to be targeted. Now, later on Wednesday, a statement from Hertfordshire Police said Clifford had been found in North London and received medical treatment for injuries. See, you know what I hate about just England and everybody else? They never give you anything. Like we would hear, they were treated for stab wounds that they inflicted on themselves at a nearby hospital. Instead, they never give you anything. They blur out the freaking criminal. They're carrying the criminal and they blur him out. It's just weird, What's the point of that? And they hardly ever give you out addresses, so you know exactly where something happened. There's a lot of stuff they just leave out. And, that's why they don't get covered quite as much as other places. Now, London Ambulance Service confirmed a man was treated at Lavender Hill Cemetery before being transported to a major trauma center, which could be one of 4 hospitals in the capital. On Wednesday afternoon, there was a significant number of police officers at the cemetery, 16 miles from the crime scene and near a property that was searched earlier in the day as part of the manhunt. Paramedics and ambulances were also at the location. Footage captured from a helicopter showed a man being stretchered out of the cemetery. Police believe the suspect was known to the victims and no one else is being sought in connection with the investigation. Sources said that Carol Hunt was found in the hallway of the house with a crossbow bolt in her chest. So here's some specific information. So these are sources said that Carol Hunt, the mother, was found in a hallway of the house with a crossbow bolt in her chest, while evidence of ligature were found near the victims. So they were maybe tied up at one point. One of the victims is understood to have texted her partner urging them to call police. Clifford is believed to have served in the British Army for a year. Sources have said the Ministry of Defense has been contacted for comment. So that must have been the other daughter, that boyfriend, she texted him. The women are understood to be the family of the BBC racing radio commentator John Hunt. As part of a note sent to BBC Radio 5 Live staff on Wednesday, the organization described the incident as utterly devastating. We've heard that like 5 times. No way, man. UK, they always do stuff like, give them 20 years. They might be out in 15. Yeah, they don't. The Hunts have another daughter, Amy, who is thought to live in Birmingham. Wow, thank God. So at least the father has at least a child left. I mean, it's already horrendous, but I mean, if he'd lost everybody, now he has something to live for. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think a lot of people, if you lose your entire family, would be in a really bad place. The Hunts have another daughter, Amy, who is thought to live in Birmingham. Police said a crossbow or other weapon may have been used in the attacks, and they are investigating what relationship any of the victims may have had to Clifford. Well, you already know that. The Home Secretary, Yvette Cooper, is urgently considering the findings of Home Office review. The crossbow bullcrap again. A source said the victims were not gagged and bound when found, but there were ligature marks around their wrists and face. It's almost like he tied them up and then he let one go at a time and hunted each one down in front of the other people. That's what it sort of sounds like. Like he tied them all up, had them all tied up, and maybe one wasn't tied up and he shoots that person, then unties the other one and shoots them. Because why would they be tied up and then shot with a crossbow? Detectives have appealed for information or video footage and asked the police to report anything suspicious they saw in Ashland Close from midday on Tuesday. That's the street, Ashland Close, I guess. About 7 hours before they found the woman. So detectives have appealed for information or video footage and asked the public to report anything suspicious they saw in Ashland Close from midday on Tuesday, about 7 hours before they found the women. What do you mean? How could they? Why would they be wanting that information 7 hours before you found them? Nobody would have even known that they were. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. Asked the public to report anything suspicious they saw in Ashland Close from midday, and I guess until about 7 hours before. I don't even know what the hell that means. One source said the women may have been held hostage for hours before police were called. I'm not sure why they would be wanting footage 7 hours before the girls were found when they found out about it when the father came home and found the girls. On Wednesday morning, armed police raided a property not far from the cemetery in Randlesham Road, Enfield, which is understood to have been linked to Clifford's brother, Bradley, who was jailed for life in 2018 for murder. Yeah, but like when you say life in that country, it doesn't mean that. Do they even have something called life without parole in England? This continues to be an incredibly difficult time for the victim's family, and we would ask that their privacy is respected as they come to terms with what has happened. This investigation is moving at pace, and formal identification of the victims is yet to take place. This investigation is moving at, again, it says, she added, following extensive inquiries, the suspect had been located and nobody else is being sought in connection with the investigation. Let's see. Suspect in killing BBC commentator wife and 2 daughters. Yep. So the victim is the wife, 2 daughters. Just before 8:30, police confirmed they found Clifford following a major operation that involved specialist search teams and armed officers. Clifford, 26, from Enfield in North London, is receiving medical treatment, having been found with injuries. The force said they believe Clifford was known to the victims. Justin Jenkins said no one else is being sought in relation to the investigation and asked that the privacy of the victim's family be respected. In a press conference before Clifford was located, CH Superintendent John Simpson from Hertfordshire Police told reporters the murders are believed to be targeted. Well, I don't have any extra information at this point. That's it. Hey, thanks, Alley Cake. Now, let me ask you guys something. You know, again, this is about what I'm trying to improve on over here. Did it bother you when there was a goal on the screen, or was it just my, where I would be kind of like, hey, yeah, be trying to get to the goal too much? Did it bother you just that there was one there? Because some people liked it and some people didn't like. I don't know if anybody didn't like having the goal on the screen. I don't know, both are murderers. So I think it's genetic, So it didn't bother you? Yeah, I don't think the goal on the screen bothered. It was more my, like an attitude, right? Yeah. Because not having it up on the screen seems to really had an effect negatively. What? Why would the hairdresser go to? Did they do a bad job on the hair? Okay, maybe I'll put that back up on the screen, but at least people can see what we're doing and where we're at. I'll lower the goal though. Well, Gummo's always liked me. Yeah. I mean, I wish if I shared the numbers with you, you'd see what I'm talking about. Right. That's right. I think I'm going to go back to putting that up there, but I'm not. It's just going to be just so people are aware of what we're trying to do. Hey, thanks, Mary Hayes from England, I guess, or the UK. God, I'm so thirsty lately. It's weird. I just don't think a lot of people know you like what you do, right? No, but I get it. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just saying, if I put it up there, at least you'd know. About 70 plus on whole life tariff. What does that mean? There's for the Kellogg's Bullcat. You talking about this haircut right there? And she's very pretty. He's kind of weird looking though, isn't he? I'm a guy though, I can't tell. I will. I think I'm gonna. Oh, the other one? Yeah, I don't know where that one is. Lost it. Was it in that last article that I had up? No. That's the cemetery. Sounds like a blog in here. Oh, this one would have been a great source if I'd started here. I mean, it shows you exactly where everything is. Oh, that one. There we go. Yeah, that's not great. You think he's attractive? I think he looks weird, especially in that last photograph. Mary has a crush on him, though, it sounds like. Lucy, let be, shake my head, what a monster. Huh? I'm just reading comments. Yeah, maybe some people like that though, Zozo. You know? Kubi said, gross. Yeah, it's just crazy though. Jeez. So he goes over, he's way over here. Right here in this house with his crossbow. I wonder if I'm gonna go try to find that spot where he came out at. But anyways, this is the house right there. And then apparently makes it back home. Let me get rid of this. This isn't meaningful. Oh, way over here. Is that right? Wait, what happened to him? Looks like they just disappeared on me. Okay, it's right here was where it happened. Then he's all the way over here, and that's his home, and right in this area. And then they find him in the cemetery over here. Looks like he kind of injured himself. Well, probably just because it would be obvious he was walking around with a crossbow. I mean, it's kind of, you can't tell exactly what it is, though. You know what I mean? Like, if it's obvious that because we know it's a crossbow. I think if he had a sheet over something, you wouldn't go, wow, that's a crossbow. You know? I think it's just because we know what it is. That's why we're able to say that. But I doubt anybody would go, wow, that's a crossbow, if it was just you saw the surveillance footage. I almost think that's just right there. I mean, he's... Is he right here? Coming like this? Yep. Look how crazy that is, you guys. Look at that. See that little pot on the ground there? It's right there. Is that crazy? So that means he's coming over here. That's the way he walked out. So now I'm wondering if... so he definitely goes this direction. Let's get that working already. Coming around like this. He goes like that. We'll just see... And what's the next one? I think he walks through there and gets into a car. Oh, that's interesting. So he comes... Wow, they got cameras everywhere there. So he comes out like right over here. Look at that. That's exactly what he just did. He went through there and probably walked through the middle of these shrubs, that little path, whatever that is. And then I bet you he comes out right here. Let's see if those... Yep. Okay, what about that little... See that little stone on the ground right there? Let's see if we can see that. There it is. Can I get a boom? There it is. So that camera is coming just like that. That's almost the exact angle. Look. Just across the street. So that means he came out right through that little entrance right there. Okay. And there you go. That's how he did it. And he got in his car at that point. I thought it was a piano. Well, he's got a big bag there, and it kind of arcs around over here. It's hard to see. Yeah, that is pretty big if that's the whole arc of it. Man, that's massive. But hey guys, if you're out there and you're able to help support the Grant Hughes Investigates YouTube channel, to see how amazing that was right there, you guys? Just quick little bing, bing, bing. But if you want to allow me to keep doing these shows and be able to keep doing the stuff we do, I'm going to need your guys' support. So if you're able to help support the channel, if you can't, then I don't want you to, right? But if you can, that'd be great. I do not know. Well, London, yeah, I'm sure London has a lot of violence. Yeah, it's like any other big city. I'm sure they have gangs and all kinds of crap going on in there. Well, what else is there on this case? I don't even know who that is. Never heard of that case. Is that in the UK also, or? Never heard of it. Oh, this is a colleague. What?
Shortly, but this has been a heartbreaking day. John Hunt is. Good evening from Germany. We have a football match to bring you tonight, and we will do, and we will start our build-up to it shortly. But this has been a heartbreaking day. John Hunt is our colleague and our friend, not just to the current Five Live sport team, but to all of those who've worked here with him over the past 20 years. And also to all of you who have enjoyed his superb commentaries. So, on behalf of everybody connected to Five Live Sport, our love and thoughts and support are with John and his family. We'll start tonight by going to Lord's and the...
Tell that guy was pretty broken up there. Let's see. Consider, yeah. I don't have the goal thing in here now. I don't think. Oh, maybe. Let's see. Oh, there it is. It's an old one. I even lowered it up there. So that's what we'd be at tonight. I'd have to figure out a way to get it back onto the main screen though. Let's see. English had... I mean, we've had... let's see. What does it say? English lad went missing 4 weeks ago in the Canary Islands. Oh, I think I barely heard of that. I don't know. There's a lot of weird stuff going on out there in the world. Crazy abductions and people going missing in various places. So anything else on this one that we don't know? I was going to go over this one from... this one would be a cold case, but it's a... it was in that book that was written for the Idaho 4 murders. There was another one that happened in the same town, but it was a long time ago. Anybody interested in that? Anybody? All right, hold on. Let me see if I can figure out a way to get that thing back on here, though. There you go, way down at the bottom. Yep, it's unsolved from, actually I think it's 1969 maybe. It's pretty weird. It's a weird one. I got a bunch of different articles though. The body of a Moscow girl, 18, was found in the kitchen of a downtown restaurant early today, and the chief investigating police officer said the death was definitely homicide. Police Captain Robert Means said Janice Lynn Foils, a University of Idaho freshman and a waitress at the Tip Top Cafe, the last 2 years apparently was the victim of a blow on the head with a blunt instrument. The object used in the attack has not been found, he said. And look at this. Means said the cafe at the outer edge of a shopping center at the eastern edge of the business district normally closes between 7 and 9 at night. Concerned because the girl had not returned home after work last night, said Means the girl's father, Marvin Foils, and her brother went looking for her. They found her body at about 3:50 a.m. and summoned police. Means said an autopsy will be conducted. Here, let me save what I did over here though. The body of Janice Lynn Foils, the University of Idaho freshman, was found early Monday in the kitchen of a downtown restaurant. Police Captain Robert Means said the girl apparently was the victim of a blow to the head with a blunt instrument. The girl's body was discovered by her father and brother after they became worried when she failed to return home from work Sunday night. Miss Foils had been employed at the cafe for 2 years, police said, after moving here with their parents from Boise. This one said 1969. Moscow police said today they could be seeking a would-be robber or a psychopathic killer in their investigation of the Sunday night beating death of Janice Lynn Foils, 18. Well, couldn't they be both? The co-ed was employed as a waitress at the Tip Top Cafe, where her body was found in the kitchen early Monday. An autopsy revealed she had been struck several blows on the head. Police Captain Robert Means said investigation indicates the death occurred sometime between 7:30 and 8:05 Sunday night. Although money wasn't taken, the girl clutched bills in her hand, and police theorized that the robbery might have been the motive of her assailant, who struck her too hard, panicked, and fled. Miss Foyle's funeral service will be Friday at 2 p.m. From Short's funeral home, funeral chapel here, with burial in the Moscow cemetery. Police said the girl was well thought of, both in Moscow and Boise, her home, until 2 years ago. Her father, Marvin, is in research at the U.S. Forest Service Research Laboratory near the university campus. And this is just this one little. An autopsy has indicated University of Idaho co-ed Janice Lynn Foils, 18, died of massive head wounds produced by a jagged instrument. Her body was found Monday in the cafe where she worked alone. Police could not establish a motive for the killing. So that would make you think it was personal. No, I was thinking though, is where was Ted Bundy at this time? And this is exactly what he does. You know, and that's her right there. You know. I mean, Ted Bundy, I think in 1969, might have even been in Washington. I mean, this is like that's what he would do, is just get something and club somebody with it. But she wasn't assaulted. And that's usually something he would do. In Idaho, 7 weeks of investigation have produced 35 hours of tape-recorded interviews and reams of reports, but to date, they have failed to identify the slayer of Janice Lynn Foils, 18. The University of Idaho freshman was found dead at the beating in late December at the Moscow Cafe where she was a waitress. So it's called the Moscow Cafe. Is that still there? There's a whole bunch of cafes, but one isn't called that. Our investigation has turned up several productive leads, said Police Captain Robert Means. We believe we're narrowing the field. Police Chief Clark Hudson estimates his officers have questioned more than 200 persons in connection with the case. 3 Moscow police officers, including Captain Means, are assigned to it full time. Prosecuting attorney William E. Anderson is conducting his own inquiry, as remained in almost day-to-day touch with police in the matter. Many other law enforcement people have been cooperating in this with us, said Means, but that one essential, the killer's identity, still eludes them all. Hey, thanks so much, Gene Gayagoy. Actually, up to this point, they have not had too much to go on. Janice, a 1969 graduate of Moscow High School who was studying general business at the university, had been employed the last year and a half at the Tip Top Cafe. Okay, now it's called the Tip Top. Is that still there? No. There's one in Portland, Oregon. On the outskirts of downtown business district. It was Sunday night, December 28th, and Janice should have closed the place sometime between 7 and 9, depending upon the number of customers. At 8:40 p.m. that night, police officer Hugh Gannon made a routine check of business houses, doors in the area. He noted the lights were still on at the Tip Top, but that wasn't unusual at that hour, and he didn't check further. Oh, that's too bad. But at the Foils home on Harold Street, when Janice failed to arrive home, her father, a research assistant at the U.S. Forest Science Laboratory here, and a brother became worried and went to look for her. Their search was unsuccessful until 3:50 a.m. when they pushed their way into the Tip Top and found the girl's body on the kitchen floor. They summoned police. A pathologist discovered her death was caused by blows on the head, apparently with a blunt instrument. No weapon was found. I don't suppose we'll ever get over it, said her father. Janice has always been a quiet girl, never taking much part in school activities or dating. She was just beginning to come out of her shell and have fun in her life when this happened. Janice was born at Coeur d'Alene, September 18, 1951, at a time her father was a U.S. Forest Service employee at Spokane from 1957 to 1967. The family was in Boise, then came to Moscow. Sunday normally busy. Had this been any other weekend, this never would have happened, said Captain Means. Usually, there would have been two persons, a cook and a waitress, to close up. Normally, Sunday night is a busy night at the cafe, full of college students, because their houses on the campus don't serve Sunday night meals. But this was Christmas vacation, and the students were away. Man, isn't that exactly the same? That's just like Coburger, basically, right? When Janice was found, the entire day's receipts, only $17, were clutched in her hand. Robbery may have been the motive, but money wasn't taken. The girl hadn't been molested. Questions remained, and until they have the answers, the investigators say they'll keep right on asking. Critical hit. And so this is 1983 now. They kind of just had nothing, but they reopened it. More than 13 years ago, someone murdered Janice Foils as she was closing a Moscow cafe where she worked as a waitress. She was hit twice on the head. There was no sexual assault, and nothing was taken from the restaurant. They never found the killer, but Moscow Police Chief Gail Peterson, who took over the department in late 1981, says he doesn't like to close any murder case, even one that's 13 years old. 1 month after this arrival, he resumed the search for Janice Foils' killer. We don't work the case all the time. It's not top priority, but we've brought out all the old case files and we've explored new leads that have popped up. I mean, if it's like a boyfriend or something, somebody with that much rage would have to be somebody that she knew, unless it's a serial killer. I mean, Ted Bundy didn't know any of his victims. He just killed them viciously, as if he knew them. They were like surrogates for maybe his mom or something. Our chances of finding the killer are as good as they were 13 years ago. They didn't solve it then, so the chances can't be worse, he said. I don't know what the police can do after all this time, but I wish them luck, said her father, Marvin Foils. And this one is from 1993. So let's see if they got any extra. That's 10 years after the last one. So Idaho, Moscow Police Lieutenant Jacob Philip Kirshenik was only 12 years old when Janice Lynn Foils was bludgeoned to death in Moscow's grisliest slaying. But the 13-year veteran thinks he knows who killed 18-year-old Foils on December 28, 1969. No arrests were ever made, and the case remains unsolved. Kirshenik has been investigating the death since 1986. And with the family's permission, Moscow police exhumed Foils' casket, in October, to glean enough evidence to round up suspect who now lives in Montana. What the hell? It is real important for people to try and understand just how difficult and overwhelming a case like this can be. Thanks, Annie Shirley. Police even enlisted the Daily News to try and crack the case. An article, 1992, contains sketchy information meant to make the suspect nervous. Look at that. Kirshenek said it worked. Oh, man. How do we find that one? The Daily News. We have to go try to find that article. I want to know what the hell he put in that one. We should probably do that now. What do you think? I'm going to go use the restroom now. So I'll be back in a minute. I'm going to see if I can find that article. Hey, look at that. It's Amy Moore. Thank you. There you go. And for now, you know it, right? You know it. Police enlisted the Daily News to try and crack the case. Contains sketchy information. Okay. 1992. Janice. How about just Janice Foils? I wonder if they did something different with that. What's the name of that paper? Again, the Daily News. I mean, I can't imagine that being like there must be 100 of those. Can I type something else in there? Oh yeah, location. There you go. I don't see any that says Daily News. God, how do you find that? That seems like it'd be so interesting. To see what how they tricked the person. Don't you think? Daily Sun News, Seattle. I don't know. They have one in like Moscow. Who cares? Maybe I'll find it some other way. Police even enlisted the Daily News to try and crack the case. An article in 1992 contained sketchy information meant to make the suspect nervous. And then he said, and it worked. He and then Latah County Prosecutor Craig Mossman went to Montana to interview the suspect in October. Did he move right after you put that out? Though they did not get a confession, both said that the trip was productive. Since then, Kirshnick has worked with the FBI to analyze evidence, profile the victim, and try to find a motive. Now he's ready to write a report for Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson. Oh, wow. He's still there? Junior. Is that him? Who's the guy that's there right now? I mean, this could be him because Bill Thompson's kind of old, isn't he? Is that who he is? Bill Thompson Jr.? That's pretty weird, isn't it? I am convinced that the suspect I've identified as the person responsible for the death. Wow. So they think they know who it is, but he's still, this is 30 years ago, and they never did anything. But I'm not the judge and jury. Janice Lynn Foils had finished her first semester at the University of Idaho. She was working alone at the Tip Top Cafe on that Sunday night. Foils appeared to be closing the case when the killer walked in. She probably knew her attacker, Kirshenick said, and continued counting money in the cash register behind the counter. Using what officials believe was a hammer, the killer bashed Foils on the side of the head with enough force to put a hole in her skull. Investigators believe the killer hit her repeatedly as she fell to the floor, then once more when she was down. No weapon was recovered, but Kirshenick said a hammer was missing from the cafe's toolbox. See, that's what Bundy would do. Yeah, he would actually go in. I mean, he would use something that was available on, at the site. Kirshenick fears even working on the case insults the officers who originally investigated it. Why? Kirshenick fears even working on the case insults the officers. Why would they be insulted? We're in an environment where people could feel like we're blaming them for not making good decisions, he said. But look at what they had to deal with back then. Moscow Police Sergeant Dave Clifford, who helped investigate the case in 1969, said it was frustrating because there were no witnesses. Kirshenick also has to cope with the family's pain each time something appears in the newspaper or someone asks a question. Old wounds are reopened, he said. But Kirshenick said technology has improved so dramatically in 23 years, they should re-exhume her. I mean, it's way better than it was in 1992, I can tell you that. Except she wasn't assaulted, so I don't know what they would be looking for. It's improved so dramatically in 23 years, investigators could examine crime scene photographs through a computer. That alone gave them many clues. Instead of looking for who killed Foils, he thought, why would somebody do this? After poring over records and evidence, he finally was able to fit a reason to a person. Man, what was that? Why can't you tell us? The motive revolved around unrequited love. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Somebody that she was not returning his affections. See? That's kind of like Kohberger, I mean, Kohberger, this guy might be almost exactly like that. Somebody, or, Kohberger seemed to be like, he killed people for, like, almost like they were proxies for somebody. I don't even know if he really knew them or not. Kirshenick learned the man he thinks killed Foils was so brash he put a Bible in her coffin during open casket services. Oh boy. So there's people out there that were at the funeral that know exactly who that was. That is why police dug up her grave. Oh man. Kirshenick did find the Bible and sent it to the FBI for handwriting and possible fingerprint analysis. Man, this has got like 1,000 times more interesting. I mean, this is crazy. That revelation and all their circumstantial evidence pointed directly to the Montana suspect, he said. But I noticed we only have 139 people watching, and I'm not sure what's going on. My video from the day, hardly anybody watching, so why it's like that, I don't know. I'm not sure what YouTube's doing. Or is it just the topic is not Karen Reed, everybody? Are you paying attention, Gummo? This is a pretty interesting case here. The revelation and all their circumstantial evidence pointed directly to the Montana suspect, he said. It was the only motive that made sense. Kirshenick's efforts is fueled largely by his compassion for Foils and her family. I did a victimology report. Well, they push out somebody's live stream, Plato, because some people have 8,000 people, 3,000. You know, they don't even push out my videos. You know, apparently only 9% of my viewers have their accounts set to notifications. Well, you have 135,000 subs, so hell, that should be around 13,000, wouldn't you think? And no, it doesn't show up that way at all. It's like 50 people. Instead of looking for who killed Foils, he thought, why would somebody do this? After poring over records and evidence, he finally was able to fit a reason. And the unrequited love is the next one that you would pick after a serial killer. Kershnik learned the man he thinks killed Foils was so brash he put a Bible in her coffin during open casket services. That is why police dug up her grave. Kershnik did find the Bible and sent it to the FBI for handwriting and possible fingerprint analysis. That revelation and all their circumstantial evidence pointed directly to the Montana suspect, he said. It was the only motive that made sense. Kershnik's effort is fueled largely by his compassion for Foils and her family. I did a victimology report to get inside her life and get to know her. In a vicarious way, I feel I knew her and have a strong sense of the kind of person she was. That's crazy. Man, they could make that'd be kind of an interesting episode on a show somewhere. I mean, you actually exhumed the body, and then we think, oh, they're looking for DNA or something. But he didn't assault her, and it turns out they were looking for a Bible that was placed in there by an individual. Yeah, but it's like that for me all the time, Sandy. You know, so... No, I don't know. I asked them. They don't actually do a shadow banning or anything like that. I don't know. But hey, guys, if you're out there and you're able to help support the channel tonight, I would appreciate it. Helps me, allows me to keep doing this show. I mean, I love doing the show and hanging out with the freaks. But yeah, we're in a weird place currently. Let's see what this one is. This one's later. This one's from 1993, 6 months later. Let me see what it says on this one. A hammer remains one of the keys to catching a suspect who has gotten away with Moscow murder for 24 years. Moscow Police Lieutenant Jacob P. Kershnik continues to chisel away at the unsolved slaying. He said his case is almost complete against a Montana suspect he believes bludgeoned 18-year-old Janice Lynn Foils. Foils, a Moscow high school graduate and freshman at the University of Idaho. So I wonder if that last article was meant to freak that guy out too, because he'd see, oh my God, I was one that put the Bible in there. Foils, a Moscow high school graduate and freshman at the University of Idaho, was killed at the Tip Top Cafe at 4th and Jefferson Street, where she worked part-time as a waitress. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, Kershnik said. The tunnel has taken 7 years, but the thought of a guilty assailant staying free has kept him on the trail. Kershnik is once again turning to Moscow area residents for proof. Hey, thanks so much. Handmade in Florida. Let me guess, you make handmade items and you live in Florida. Or don't tell me you consider yourself like a handmaid, like handmade, like the Handmaid Tales, right? I'll call you Z. All right, Z. Okay, and it says Kirshnik is once again turning to Moscow area residents for proof. Finding the hammer, probably used to crush the student's skull, would help tremendously. Ah, man, that's... if you threw that in a river or something, forget it. Hey, thanks so much, Quinta Huggins. Investigators discovered one missing from the cafe where Foils died. It was a claw hammer. Jesus. Here, I'll show you what one of those looks like if you haven't. Well, I guess claw hammer is just like the typical hammer that has the, the back, well, like one of these. That she was hit with one of those. Investigators discovered one missing from the cafe where Foils died. It was a claw hammer with one of the claws broken off, he said. Man, you hit her that hard? The handle was wrapped or covered with a brown material, possibly leather. Police believe the suspect disposed of the hammer in the Moscow area, and it might now be in someone else's toolbox, garage, or barn. I don't know. That sounds kind of like, really? Like you'd throw it away or something. Wait, where does it say? Was killed at Tip Top Cafe at 4th and Jefferson Street. I mean, the weird thing is, why is it even interesting, the Alec Baldwin case? It's just so, like, it's just because it's Alec Baldwin. Think about it, if it was a guy named Jim Smith, and he was, he fired a gun and it killed somebody at a movie set, and he wasn't even a director or anything, but it's the same scenario. You just go, yeah, wow, okay, wow, that's weird, yeah. Nobody would follow that. Not a soul. Because it's Alec Baldwin. Ooh, wow. That's amazing. Fourth and Jefferson, Moscow. Oh, maybe that's it. It's a hair salon. I don't know. What was it? Tip Top Cafe. Are you sure it's the hair salon? I was going to look at it later. There's an image coming up here, I think. It was a claw hammer with one of the claws broken off. Let's see. No one in Moscow area is under suspicion in the case, and a resident who finds such a hammer among his tools need not be afraid to come forward. Foils was closing the cafe that night. Police believe she was killed after the last customer left at 7:30 p.m. Kirshnik said he believes a man with the motive of unrequited love used the hammer to hit her 6 times. Earlier they said 2 times. Kirshnick said many things could tie the hammer to the suspect, including fingerprints. Or man, the odds of that are just so low at this point. Fingerprints or traces of Foils' blood. Weaver said methods for analyzing evidence, DNA typing, for example, have improved greatly since the murder. It's a long shot, Weaver said, but they've been able to do some pretty amazing things with the technology they have now. It's sometimes possible now, for example, to obtain valuable evidence from an object that has spent years at the bottom of a river. Okay. Police exhumed Foils' body in 1992 and discovered a Bible placed in the casket by the suspect at the time of the funeral. The FBI examined the Bible, Kirshnick said. Results of those tests confirmed his belief in the suspect's guilt. Well, what happened? Latah County Prosecutor Bill Thompson Jr. said he will treat the case like any other. It's the same as if the crime happened yesterday. Is there evidence sufficient to support a charge? Thompson said. I've enlisted should have been Thompson asked. I've enlisted a lot of help and counsel from experts who work on cases like this, Kirshnick said, adding they have confirmed he is on the right trail. Let's see, this one, 1994. Oh, yeah. That's right. They said this, but that doesn't clear shit. But look at, they do the anatomy of a murder investigation is often completed as much by the pieces that don't belong as those that fit. The Moscow Police Department Tuesday announced the elimination of the leading suspect in its 24-year investigation of the Janice Lynn Foils murder, discarding another piece of the puzzle. That must have been so frustrating. The announcement follows the March 18th examination of a suspect in Montana, who was first questioned by investigators a few days after December 28, 1969, when University of Idaho freshman Foils, 18, was beaten to death with a hammer at the Tip Top Cafe. But lie detector tests aren't even, like people pass them or don't pass. It's just kind of convening in Montana. Moscow Police Lieutenant Jake Kirshnick, FBI polygraph expert Ron Hilly of San Francisco, and FBI Special Agent Tom Ernst of Salt Lake City administered a polygraph test that they felt substantially reduced the probability of the suspect's guilt. Yeah, it's hard to trust something like that. What it boils down to is he failed the test. Kirshnick, Wednesday after returning, what it boils down to is he failed the test, said Kirshnick Wednesday after returning to Moscow. He failed to incriminate himself after originally lending doubt to his story. Kirshnick first approached the suspect in October of 1992 when new evidence from an exhumation of Foils' body closely linked him with Foils. But during the 1992 visit, Kirshnick said the suspect declined a polygraph test. This time, though, Kirshnick said the possibility of a grand jury assembly persuaded the suspect to take the test. I believe that my investigation as far as the suspect's possible connections with the crime was as thorough as possible, and when we felt the circumstances were ideal, we offered him another chance to take the test, said Kirshnick. I'm satisfied by the results. Kirshnick said Randy Foils of Spokane, who found his sister's body the morning after the murder, expressed his appreciation for the effort, and due to a connection the suspect had with the Foils family, Kirshnick said Randy appeared relieved. On the other hand, we still don't know why Janice was murdered, said Kirshnick. That has to be painful and frustrating. What case are we guys talking about in there? Let's see. That was painful and frustrating. Particular to this case has been the voluminous list of suspects and the frustrations accompanying each ebb and flow of the investigation, which have found by the dwindling list of suspects. Are you guys wanting me to cover Alec Baldwin? Is that it? Or I mean, I think if I want my channel to survive, I've got to just jump on any huge case and stick with it. You guys. I think that's the way to do it. No, you guys say don't, but man, you guys know, right? So I think that's the way I've got to go, man. Oh yeah, Alec Baldwin. Let's jump on the Karen Reed bandwagon. Let's do it all. Anyways, as early as 1970, Captain Robert Means, the original investigating officer, began eliminating local troublemakers, and as recently as last June, Kirshnick eliminated a different suspect after another polygraph test. In 1982, former Moscow detective Mike Schinel traveled to Orange, California to interview a former Moscow resident who said on the night of the murder her ex-husband came home with blood on his shirt. That suspect also was found to be innocent. Kirshnick assumed the case in 1986 and has traveled down several investigative dead ends, including in 1989 when serial killer Ted Bundy was captured in Florida. See, I was wondering about that guy. Bundy admitted to several murders across the nation, including a murder in Pocatello. However, at the time of his execution in 1989, he had never admitted to a murder before 1973, when he was 27. All right, but he was in Washington in 1969. We sent the FBI our case files in 1989, but the response was inconclusive, said Kirshnick. I'm sure their investigators were deluged with old murder cases, so at that point, we just let it go. Despite the newest in a long line of evidential eliminations, Kirshnick said the case will continue to be worked. Part of what I did in Montana was review the case with the FBI agents and look into some new areas that haven't been looked into to date. Kirshnick said polygraph expert Hilly, who worked extensively on the polyclass disappearance in Petaluma, California, and Ernst, who has worked on a number of high-profile investigations, including the Patty Hearst kidnapping in the late 1970s, have been instrumental in redirecting his investigation. Crucial to the latest redirect are 3 unidentified fingerprints from the original crime scene that were sent to the FBI crime laboratory in Washington, D.C. in 1970. We're still considering those prints in the current investigation, said Kirshnick. The fingerprints, as well as much of the evidence from the original investigation, has been and continues to be crucial to the case. I think it's important to understand that the guy who originally worked this case did a good job, and I certainly respect their efforts. Means is still extremely beneficial and is committed, as anyone around here, to solving this case. Still, the only unsolved murder investigation on the Moscow books, the Foils case, remains an enigma. She was the brightest and nicest person you ever want to know, said Kirshnick. Whoever killed her is still out there. What's this one? Thanks, Michelle H. But you see, to take pressure off the show and me, I think I need to do cases where I can get more people in here. Okay? I think that's just sort of the obvious thing. I mean, right now we've got, 126 people watching? How is that even a possibility of... I don't know, Plato. I don't know. It's just not... It doesn't work. Whenever you do anything else, you don't get anybody watching. and it's a struggle, right? So that's just kind of the reality of it. I know it sucks, but anyways, here is see, Janice is in this one with a whole bunch of other people, and we actually covered one that had, I think it was Brandy Miller here, and I think maybe, I can't remember, Christina White here. I think they were, that was the one, what was that? Something like the Lewis and Clark Trail Killer or something like that. Oh yeah. Yeah. Crazy, DM. I mean, don't you think it's a little weird that we just covered some big news and there's 136 people sitting here right now? I know it doesn't, see, here's the thing. I know, like, when I'm doing my shows, I know you guys don't really give two shits about my side of it, right? Where I'm sitting here and I'm doing these shows. You guys are here to just be entertained and have a show and all that kind of stuff. But I look at the numbers and things, right? And I see all that. So I'm trying to figure out, like, you know, how do I get it where I too can have like the big crowds on a nightly basis watching, you know, doing a live stream. Yeah, I know it is fascinating, but it isn't fascinating for enough people, handmade in Florida. That's the sad part. Years ago when, maybe 2 years ago when I didn't do, when I was one of, there wasn't a ton of, it is embarrassing, Angie. It is embarrassing. A few years ago when there weren't a lot of true crime YouTubers and drama channels and all, just every Tom, Dick, and Harry jumping out, I could cover all kinds of old cold cases and whatever, and people would still be interested, and, you know, I'd have 400 people watching, and, you know, that'd be cool. But it's not like that anymore. And you can see, you know, just like, you can just see it, right? I mean, it's just obvious. Well, did they make an arrest in that one, DM? Yeah. But what I can tell you is, you know, just lately when I decided, you know, I'm not going to, and I'm not, you know, obviously that's not what I'm going to do. I just, you know, you know what sucks is I can't talk to you guys about what I really want to say and what's going on, okay? Because I got somebody that's too judgy. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and I don't have any more on this. I think there's might be this article here. This one. Oh yeah, so there it was. I think there was just a picture there. Yeah, so let's see if it looks like that. We go down to Street View. Yeah, so that's the only place that looked right when I was looking at it. That looks pretty good. Except the door is not in the right spot. Let me go over here. There's a door on that side. Yeah. Yeah, I got a good 1,000 views there, Just Lurking. Awesome video. Yeah, well, that one makes sense if that's the place. But it looks like it's part of a mall. Well, thanks, Francis. Yeah, but what I'm saying is, see, the enigma that we have here is this, is I do these shows, and, you know, we were doing all this stuff where we were sending money into various charities, and everything was working really well and everything like that. And then since I changed the philosophy here, it's for 5 days in a row, it's been each day progressively less and worse and worse and worse, to a point where it's hard to even, justify doing a show. And isn't that just shitty? I'm just telling you the truth. But when you tell it to certain people, they get upset and go, oh, you're just... I don't know what else to tell you. Okay? So, I mean, I appreciate everybody's support, that everybody is helping, but I need to get more people in here. You see what I'm saying? Because I don't want to create the stress and the pressure. I want to get more people watching to make their, have a higher potential of channel members and maybe other people helping out. Does that make sense? Yeah, and there's LM again, always coming in, trashing everybody. Every single freaking show, LM. I'm really close to blocking you permanently. I wasn't really talking about that. I'm just trying to tell you, when you spend a few hours getting ready to do a show and you got 150 people watching and you have 135,000 subscribers, it's just kind of demoralizing. And I know you're not here for that. You're here to watch a show, but I'm a human being that actually has feelings and I think, my brain actually works. It's weird. So what is this one here? So they want me to pay for this. Can I do it if I'm... Can I scroll down even when it's open? Doesn't look like it. Yeah, that sucks. A minute ago I might be able to get in there. Yeah, we know LM. So if you were actually paying attention, LM, what I said was, I'd like to do topics where way more people watch. Okay? You obviously weren't paying attention, because I don't want to put the pressure on the same people over and over and over again. I don't like that. I've explained it to you, LM, but you like to come in and put your little trashy comments in like you do every single time, instead of just being a supportive friend or a person. Okay? You are ridiculous, like 95% of the time. It's insane. I don't know where you come from. So anyways, yeah, no, it's. I think it's interesting, and that was an interesting case. A lot of people weren't paying attention, though. It was another disheartening moment. What are you referring to, Crystal? Don't even give idiots the view of what? Not sure what that means. Yeah, and what's strange is it all just goes back to that day where I went, okay, everybody, I'm going to do it differently. And it's just... I enjoy your content because your personality is so authentic. You say what most people feel. Yeah, I mean, I try to let you know what I'm thinking, because I don't want to... I need somewhere to say it. And it used to just sort of be this sort of symbiotic relationship where, I'm doing the shows, everybody's supporting the channel, and we're just moving along. Okay, and then now it's just sort of, I don't know, I'm sort of stuck in a weird place, I have good days and bad days like everybody else, and I always replay because I have things here at night. It's normal for the police to clear so many people with lie detector tests. I mean, I think it used to be. I think now it's lie detector tests aren't even admissible in court. So it feels like, and a lot of people are willing to take one even if they did it. I mean, they can just go right through it. Like, I bet you the Hauk brother that took it passed. Even though the guy said, oh, you didn't pass. We know you didn't. They just use it to use against you to make you think something. And they'll say, hey, you didn't pass. And they expect somebody like Nick Hauk to go, oh, really? Okay, I did it. You're right. I didn't pass. I knew I wasn't going to pass. You know, that kind of thing. LM, I've been kind to you 50,000 times, but my payment for it is you coming in being rude as hell almost every single time. I've said, oh wow, never mind, LM. I'm not going to refer to you. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of them out there. Yeah, just saying. Ding, 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 ding. Well, I guess we could try one of those location games if anybody wants to do that. Maybe that'll help out. Or you can win a notebook or something. You just never know. Hey, thanks, WNC Granny. How you feeling these days? What the hell? I feel like I'm upside down. Oh, wow, this thing's like completely... Is that right? Yeah. Yeah, it's a little earlier. Doesn't seem to work too well though with the 100 and what are we at now? 151, 159. Oh yeah, weird. Yeah, I mean, it was just so frustrating today. I made a video, put it out there, and they just sort of crash and burn right out of the gate. Now, it might be because people are looking for other things, you know. So the one I put out today was just sort of all the main, like the 4 interviews, and I went through all of it. Took me, 3 hours or 4 hours to do, and found the comments in there that I thought they're more interesting and put them together. So instead of 2 hours, it was 27 minutes. Yeah, so I put it out there, but who's looking for like maybe people aren't typing in Madeline Soto, hashtag Madeline Soto, right? They're typing in Alec Baldwin, hashtag Alec Baldwin, hashtag so maybe that's where it is, right? People, if you put out your video on a day where there's breaking news on a case, I think you get a lot more views. Does that make sense? But it feels like with 135,000 subscribers, I should be able to put out a video and get 10,000 views no matter what. Doesn't that make sense? Just sort of, Seems like it would make sense, but maybe it doesn't. I mean, it just sucks to have worked so many years to build up to this and then just sort of have it just kind of just on a dime one day just sort of fade away, It's a really shitty feeling, Worked so hard to get my little plaque over there, and then you're we're doing all these things with our DNA funds and our all that stuff and scholarship. I mean, that's all out the window now. You know, it's just devastating. That's crazy, Zozo. Just 2 to 5, huh? Yeah, so it's just kind of like, you know, when I used to put the goal up on the screen and I'd push for it, we'd get there, right? And now, if I don't mention it, and I'm trying to be not pushy, it's like, yeah, you know, it's not as important, but that's what allowed us to continue to do all those great things that we were doing for all those years. And I guess that's where the it feels like I should be able to put it up there, or, you know, like we tried today, and just not be pushy about it. And you know, that's the part I'd never liked doing, that part. But it worked in a way. Like, it actually got us to the goals a lot of nights. Like, hey, everybody, come on, let's go. We only got another. And it worked. We got it. We did it. But now I'm not doing that. So it's this thing where it's up to the people watching to realize it without the pressure. You know, like, so that's where it's tough for me, because I've seen it in these 5 days that we just had in a row, minus the one lucky night where Scouting Dude, it's gone down every single night to where a point where we're 50% of like a goal that we used to have. And so that's weird to me, right? Most people said it was wanted the goal on there. I mean, it's not on this screen here, but it was on, well, I guess it is. Yeah, it's right there. And I even lowered it $50 and see where we're at there. That's kind of how it's been for 5 days straight. Yeah, I'm talking about 2 weeks, Francis. Like 10 days, not the cold case from hometown. Yeah, boy, I can't wait to cover another cold case DM. We'll get another 110 people in here. Be awesome. Basically, the way the true crime community is working now is the hell with any cold case or something older. Those cases are done. Okay? You can't touch them now because people will just go watch something a little more recent and entertaining. Yeah, it's not, the economy is shitty in terms of, what's weird about it is the stock market's not bad, but the economy with the inflation and just, you know, it's insane. I think I saw this guy, he said that he bought like 300, he would go to the grocery store and things would cost like 300 and something dollars, and then it made its way all the way up to the same, then he went back, I think it was Amazon or something. You know how you can buy like a bunch of stuff on Amazon? So he bought a bunch of stuff on Amazon. It was 300 and something bucks. And then he bought the same like reorder button like months later, like from a long time, like last year. And then this year was like 700. That's incredible. Yeah, like today's premiere was just so sad for me. You know, I put it out there and there's 75 people watching. It got up to like 140, just like we have right now. And then it just went. The ones that got me the most views are like Idaho 4. Well, a whole bunch of them over the years, but you know. Sebastian Rogers, a few videos that I made. The I don't know, like some of the Micah Miller videos. Like Micah Miller is still really big for some reason. People are always joining this group that we created when we thought it might have been something else. And it gets like 200 people a day trying to get in there, and it's like, what video could you possibly make on that? what I would make is videos proving that she took her own life, you know, and they wouldn't want to watch it. And then also, you know, all those ones like Riley Strain, the what's the one that we're doing recently with the well and the sewer. Even if you have to stay from some cold, yeah. I mean, that's what tonight. I did the mainstream one first, and then did the one that I wanted to. Yeah, Caleb Harris. I just wanted to do the cold case. I had it sitting in a folder because I just listened to the book that was written. Yeah, I said that. WNC Granny. So. Anybody interested in playing the location one? So I think a cool technique, way to do it would be, see, we first do like a few minutes where people guess the region, and those ones are $2, right? And then we kind of narrow it down inside the region to a state. And then maybe that would work. I don't know. And then location game is a lot of fun. Yeah. Welcome, Ricky Osborne. I mean, I guess the key thing is what do you guys actually want to be? I mean, I know you see the thing is right now the people watching are the ones that are always here. But what would you rather, like, what would be something cool to be covering where you think there a lot of other people would be watching at the same time? Without saying Alec Baldwin. That's what everybody was going to say. Wow. I'm just trying to get something here. I'm getting my location thing figured out. Hey, look at that. WNC Granny just gifted a membership to Kimberly Barr. Put WNC Granny up here. What was the other one? Alley Cake and WNC Granny again. Maybe I should do a poll, like a community post about a like what people want me to be covering. I don't know. What did Kylie say? Kylie, I like that. I don't see it. Oh, do a recap on Richard Allen before trial. Do a cold case night and have a guest on to talk about. Yeah, people won't be here for it. Yeah, it doesn't matter if I have a guest on or not. Like here's the thing. I have Dr. Colleen Fitzpatrick on here, and when she comes on, there's like those are nights where for some reason we have the least views And it's just strange. Like, what is that? What's going on with that, you guys? She's like one of the most interesting people in the world. You know? It's crazy. Now I'm trying to locate this. Let's see. All right. Okay. All right. I've got a location. So who's doing it? Well, I think that's kind of standard though, Zozo. See, most people think to look, and check. Like, I always think it's funny when people go, "Oh, I didn't even know you're live," and it's like 6 o'clock at night. I go live every single night, and I'm on around that same time every single night. So just look. I always do shows. I think most people do not do the notification bell, and they still somehow find the place. All right, so let me move this out. All right, so this first round is just like, and the winner, anybody that guesses in the right segment gets put into the spin wheel, or for the prize of this particular, which will be like a notebook, right? So on the first one, you pick the region. So you do $2 super chat, and then you have to pick like, Pacific Standard Time. What is it? Mountain Time, Central, East Coast, and we'll try to narrow it down. See what happens. All right. So that's where we're at right now. You got to pick a time zone. And then after that, it moves up. Anybody want to play? We did the other night. It seemed to be pretty. This one now is more organized. Igor is back. Yeah, it's still on the screen there. I always miss that. Let's say you're looking for a case. That's all there. That's the only hint now is pick a time zone, and it's you do the $2 super chats. So people who do that with the guesses. So whoever puts those in, and you get the guess, you still get put over in the chance to win. And then on the next level, people get a little bit more, like at $5 for pick the state in there, and then we kind of try to narrow it down. Then you figure out what crime. Then I start giving you hints. And then the person that gets the closest pin wins the notebook. That makes sense? Hey, don't all start playing at once. I don't think. See, people already aren't doing it right. It's you do the $2 super chats, and then you put it on that guess. Well, that was fun. It's just a way to help raise funds, you guys. Okay, you did Eastern Standard Time. And do you think I should say if it's correct or not at the very beginning? I'll say, I'll actually let you know. Well, actually, what I was going to do is do like a 10-minute thing. Well, what if you're trying? What was your guess going to be, Handmaid, in Florida? What's your guess? What time zone? You can type it in now since you already put it in there. So it's 5:45. How about for another, like 5 more minutes, you guys can guess on those. Oh, well, just tell me what time zone now, Handmaid. Stephen Griffith is the Crossbow cannibal. Never heard of him. And Melissa Teal, what was your guess? What's going on, you guys? Okay, you want to do a practice round? Okay. All right. All right, let's just pretend. Here, let's just do this one over here. Okay, so for WNC Granny, let's just pretend that I was trying to get to Brian Koberger's house. So that would have been an interesting one, right? Because then you'd say East Coast. Okay, and then eventually after the 5 minutes are up, anybody who picked East Coast, they would be correct over here and get some credit for later. Then after that, you pick some, but there's a lot of states, but people would put in, maybe we do another round at 2 or something. And then once I got to the state, that's when the next guesses, narrowing it down, are $5. And if you get the one closest to the pin, that's who wins. So let's pretend that WNC Granny was East Coast, right? And then somebody else in the next round picks a that's not a copycat, Jacqueline. And the next round picks a state. And then once the state's picked, then people start, I give you more hints. I would say something like, I mean, in his case, it gives it away almost immediately as soon as you say anything. He drove a white Elantra. And then all of a sudden, you're going to go for the house, but maybe I have a more specific location, for example. Does that make any sense? No, we can see you, Deborah. Did you say something? Let me see. My notification bell automatically goes to all. I have to change it if I don't want to get all notification. Huh. Anybody interested in playing this? Because Handmaid in Florida and Melissa Teal, you didn't put in your time zone guess. I'm not gonna do it again. All right, so we're already playing. I have a place already picked out. WNC Grannies picked East Coast. Handmaid in Florida didn't give me anything. So do you mind? Why don't you just type one in? We're just trying. You're trying to locate a crime scene, or something related to a crime. Okay, and we just start off with the time zone. And if you pick the correct time zone, you make it into the finals, but you have less chances to win than somebody else that keeps moving forward. So even the person at the end who gets it right, then maybe I'll spin with all the people who played, and then you win a notebook. But the ones that get it right, maybe you get like 10 pieces of the pie, and the first people just get one, but at least you have a shot, Does that make? I think that works out pretty good. Well, I'm trying to try one, but nobody's playing. So WNC Granny did the East Coast. Handmade Florida also said East. All right. And then what about you, Melissa Teal? What did you want to do? And I guess the hint that I'll tell you right now is it's not Eastern Standard Time. It's not on the East Coast. All right. I am. Wow, this is taking off like a lead balloon. Hello, Lisa. How come you guys aren't playing the game the way we're supposed to be playing it? What is Emma? Is that Mountain Standard Time? Okay. Okay, we've got another 4 minutes. Well, actually, I think the time's just about up. So, let's see. In this round, the answer is... It's actually Hoobies got that one. All right, so that's the only winner. All right, so now we're moving on. Now, what state in the Mountain Time is it? So that's the next guess. So Kubi, you've already got one piece of pie for the win at the end. All right. So it's Mountain Time. Yeah, but it's you have to do. It's a super chat game, Tracy Harrison, of $2. Until we get to the right state. Yeah, you got to keep. Yeah, it's just another 2 for picking the state. Well, it's too late, Pancakes. Do I need to give Pancakes one because she did it after the fact? Maybe I should. Maybe she typed it in when she heard it. Hey, thanks, Tracy Harrison. Hey, welcome, Ricky Osborne. Great first time chatting. Just want to say I appreciate your dedication to crime solving. You go the extra mile with the investigations. I've recently found your work via the Maddie Soto case. Oh, very cool, very cool. Okay, it's not Arizona and it's not Idaho. All right, so I'll put this on the screen so you can see it. I guess the red, I don't know if you can see it very well, but all these in red here are the states. So it wasn't Idaho and it wasn't Colorado. Nope, it's not California. California is on the Pacific Standard Time. It's not Utah. Hey, you guys you're narrowing it down though. So it's not Utah. It's not Idaho. It's not California. Not Utah. God, my mouth's just so dry. It's weird. I don't know why. It's not Colorado. You guys are narrowing it down now. And it's a full state, okay? It's not one of these little half stuff over here. Like, it's not North Dakota, it's not South Dakota, it's not Nebraska, it's not Kansas that have a little chunk in there, okay? It's just the full states in that red. So you guys have, there's only a couple left actually in there. There's only 2 left. It's not New Mexico. Kubi. Oh. And it's not Montana. So you guys are making some good progress here. It's not Montana. So every state except one has been picked out of there. Does anybody know the other one? There's one sitting there. Nope, Texas isn't even in. There's no central time in Texas. See, it's right here. You guys have picked Montana, Idaho, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico, and Montana. And there's one sitting in there. No, it's Mountain Time. Nevada is right here. It's actually, for some reason, the whole state's Pacific Standard Time. See the blue here? So right here, look what I'm pointing at. I'm giving you guys hints right here. You've picked Montana. Oh, you put Montana, Idaho, Utah, Colorado, New Mexico. There's one that hasn't been picked. But it's a super chat game. It's a super chat game. That's how you get the win for that piece. I've seen some correct answers in there. They just didn't play it the right way. Oh, there's pancakes. Got it. All right. All right. So now we have the 2. We have Kubi, Mountain Time, and pancakes are all in the. And we'll get Kubi will get in there too, just like that last person tied her. All right. So there you go. Now you've got spins. And Zozo picked China, which is nowhere near there. Did I ever tell you the story about when I was a kid, I dug to China in my backyard, and I actually found this porcelain pig that was made in Japan. And I thought, wow, I almost did it. That was it was really happened though. That's the weird part. All right, now I guess we're on to the next element. Yeah, so now that we're in Wyoming, I guess I have to say, I guess the next one will be the case. And then you guys start picking out like different locations in there, like name a town or something like that. But let's say a boyfriend that killed his girlfriend. Okay, you got to guess what the. We'll just keep doing the $2 one. But if you do 5, I'll give you double the points if you get it right. Okay. Instead of just 1, you get 2. Well, no, because we got to guess on the location is what really matters at this point. You didn't play though, Lisa Valenzuela. You should have played. Is that it? See, it's not the case. There's actually a pin I have GPS coordinates of a location. Maybe that part makes it hard. Hello. But Handmaid in Florida, you played again up there. You didn't guess anything. You almost said China. Are we frozen? Yeah, Gene, you got it wrong, man. You got it wrong. Yes, we all know Florida's eastern. Yep. I mean, nobody's going to guess the really obvious one and get a point to be put into the spin. No, the next one is well, I'm just giving you a hint because I'm trying to get you to get the location in the state of where I'm talking about. You know, there's a GPS. It's a location, not the case is part of it. But you know, now that we've narrowed it down. You know, if it wasn't Wyoming and I said the same thing, it'd be a completely different case. You know, they like to travel around. Okay. No. Nobody's even guessed. Yeah, so like WNC Granny did it right. Now she got a freebie because she's the only one that thought, oh, I'm going to do the... Because that was the next guess was, you know, the Petitos. But no, not near the Grand Canyon. Gabby Petito, not Petitos, but Gabby Petito case was the case that I was waiting for somebody to type in. I know, but you got to play, though, for me to type something in, Tracy. So, I mean, you can type all you want, but... well, she didn't. She won the name of the case, but that's not a win. But each level that you're playing, your name goes into a spin at the end. And so, like, Kubi has 2 of them because she got 2, and then Mountain Time and Pancakes and WNC Granny. But the winner gets, like, the closest at the very end, it'll be, you give me a location in Wyoming. Yeah, Gabby Petito. And I guess maybe I'll throw Pancakes in there just like you got Kubi a minute ago. All right. But now your other guess is Grand Canyon, somebody guessed. I'm not even sure they went there, did they? Okay, I'll put a pin. This is for WNC Granny. Grand Tetons, let me do that. I'm just going to put the pin where the geographical location is. You can't say, well, a little bit south, you know, anything like that. It's GG. And then Pancake said Tetons too, so I guess we'll put you over, you are also over here. Anybody else? And then Tracy. You said, Sandy said a different one. Let's see. Bridger Teton National Forest. There you go. And then Moab. I think that's in Utah or something. Handmade. Yellowstone. And there's Kubi. Anybody else? Paul Bunyan's toilet. Yeah. All right, Glacier National Park by Jessica Schubach. Huh. That's up in Montana, right? All right, we'll do another like 2 minutes on that. Paul Bunyan's toilet. I like trying to fly through that. You know, if I can avoid all those big craps that are in there, I don't know yet. I'm going to wait for the pics and then I'm going to put the pin on the screen. And we'll see. Because I don't even know where it is on the screen right there. Or is that it? Does anybody else have any other guesses? All right, I'm going to turn it on. Well, actually, here we go. I got the coordinates up here. So I'm going to put them in right now. Here we go. Here we go. It's just a location related to the Gabby Petito case. So here we go. Oh man, we're getting right in on here. Look at that. So these guys were all close. Gigi Pancakes and Tracy Harrison. There's where her body was found right there. I like exactly where I have that pin. And remember their van was, what was it? Like they drove over here somewhere and I don't think there's street view, or was there? That was the craziest case ever, where there was actually people in a van driving around. All right, so I guess what we'll do here is you guys, I'll give you guys like 3 pie pieces for winning each. But Kubi's got some 2 in there anyways. Yeah, that's pretty cool, didn't you think? I mean, it was kind of neat. You guys got these precise. How could I make it more, like, what should I have done the order? Maybe it would be something else. Harder to figure out the case, I guess. We don't know who won yet. I got the spin. So here we go. We're going to do the spin on the wheel of names. And here we go. There we go. Not too many names on the wheel. Well, quite a few, really, but you got more if you won the thing. So that way, at least if you get one of the questions right during it, you have a chance, right? You see that? God, you see that, Kubi? That was a... Oh, poor Kubi. That was just trickling along. And then it just went dink. So Gigi is the winner. She was one of the had more pie pieces, though. What do you mean, what's happening? My God. Jesus. I think you do that intentionally. Did you see that, Kubi? That thing, I think, had like an atom. Like there was an atom between you winning and then it just went tick over to the next one. Oh, cool. Well, send me your address and everything, G. What do you think? Is that kind of fun, at least? A little bit? Now I'm going to get rid of these. Look at all these pins I have on here. Watch this. I mean, it was huge. This case I had so much stuff going on. And this is that nutty thing. This is that crazy case. Remember when we actually, based on the information we had, I drew this circle here. Like this, right there. Then the FBI came in and said, hey, they gave us this map. And then they had an oval in there. And then inside the overlap of my circle and their circle was where the van was, right there. That was sweet. Yeah, we had everything mapped out, like the people he talked to. He got that one ride, remember that, from some lady gave him a ride hitchhiking. Anyways, what did you think of that? It's not incredibly expensive or anything. We're just playing, but it helps raise the, get some funds going, gives you something to do, like some reason, Yeah, remember that lady picked him up and then he got a ride almost, but he didn't want her to drive her to her van. Just drop him off at the gate. I mean, is there a way I can make it better? Maybe make it harder to get the case? Because we could do it where you have to kind of, you can even use Google and stuff. Maybe look up information that I could give and then find it. But look at that. We almost, by playing that game, we got to 75%. Remember the people, well, I remember, or what do you mean in the RV park telling? I remember the people in the RV camper that actually filmed the van as they drove by, and while they're driving by, you can see the door shut. I didn't believe that at first, but after I looked at it, I actually realized that that is what you could see. That case right there was the quintessential, the public basically solved that case. Without that those van people, nobody ever would have found Gabby's body. You know, and if they did, it would have been just sort of bones floating around, and they would have brought him somewhere and maybe tried to identify that. I don't know if they could even associate them. Although, I guess they could because he was in the area. They knew that. Mm. Oh, you do? Mm. Drawing that circle, and it was neat. Yeah, it was cool. Well, what else? Well, I don't really have anything else to cover tonight, you guys. That was it. Maybe she thought of it. Gene. I didn't know about their channel. Yeah, well, they had a different name back then, I thought. I don't know. Well, there's no more to play. I'm done. So I think I'm gonna go try to eat some dinner, and gonna take my kid fishing and see if we catch anything. And what, in Wyoming? I haven't seen any in Wyoming. But anyways, thank you to... I still can't even do the normal spin, if you can believe that. Or maybe I'll just do it. Clear this board here. Well, any last takers to get on the big spin board? I'll just do it. Here we go. And if a scout in duty wants to pass them on. Look at that. Mike S. won those. So if you're out there, Mike S., don't forget to send the address. So there you go. So thanks to, let's see, we got Randy Johnson, new member, Shelly Ann, Emily Flotilla gifted a membership. Then we had Francis Perrault, Mary Hayes, tired of it all. Then Sybil Bergeron, Francis Perrault, Crystal aka Beaver Gaming Sub Crystal, Far Q, Francis Perrault, Alley Cake, Francis Perrault, Emily Flotilla gifted a membership. Then Francis Perrault again, Alley Cake, Mary Hayes, Elaine Talling, Jeannie Gaigoy, Sandy Shirley, Amy Moore, Handmade Tale in Florida, Quinta Huggins, Michelle H, WNC Granny, Alley Cake, Ricky Osborne, WNC Granny, Handmade in Florida, Melissa Teal, Kubi, Sandy Shirley, WNC Granny, Pancakes, Tracy Harrison Sass, Kubi, WNC Granny, Tracy Harrison 54 months, thank you, Kubi, Sandy Shirley, Pancakes. The reason there's so many because they're all the $2 ones. Kubi, GG, Pancakes, Handmaid's Tale in Florida, Kubi, GG, WNC Granny, Pancakes, Sandy Shirley, Tracy Harrison Sass, Handmaid's Tale in Florida, and Kubi. And the last one is Jessica Schubach. So there you go. There you have it. So thanks everybody for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. I'm going fishing. All right, so thanks for watching. And as I always say, until next time, be safe out there. And a 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4. Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector, flag rejector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grayl's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector, interceptor, and I'm meaner than a spectre with a vector on his pector. With all respect, y'all, just remember I've a temple fucking check ya. I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. Alright, everybody? Talk to you later.
Good night, everybody. Peace.